All right, sure. And once again, good morning, everyone. And thank you for having me here. It's so great to see everyone. And yeah, most above all, thank you for being here, especially in the morning. I will try my best not to make it boring. So throughout the presentation, I will also ask a few questions. So feel free to drop your answer in the chat, as well as if you have any questions for me. I know some of you guys are in Indonesia. Halo Indonesia, kalau mau tanya bahasa, kalau mau tanya di bahasa Indonesia juga boleh. Nanti saya jawab di bahasa Indonesia juga. Yeah, so without further ado, let's jump right in. So, okay, my name is Natasya. You can call me Nat. I'm communication design manager in Piktochart. So before, I was a senior graphic designer for Yoshinoya and Uniqlo Singapore. And visual communication has been my daily language for the past 8 years. And the fact that now it's so essential to the brands and the companies out there, I hope I can share my learnings with all of you guys today. So, all right, Pictochart is an intuitive visual communication editor. So we empower people to communicate better visually. Our goal is to empower professionals like you all here to communicate effectively and effortlessly. We were founded in 2012 by our founder and co-founder, Aiching and Andrea. And currently we are a fully remote team of 50 people. So to date, we are trusted by 8 million of users across the globe. And to visualize that number, Hong Kong population is currently 7.5 million. So we are really, really blessed to have such a big group of people that is dear to us. And they have so far created 34 million visuals. So again, we are really grateful for that. And all right, so moving on to the real stuff. We all have probably known or even experienced this issue. So due to the rapid development of technology and social media, we are constantly bombarded with lots and lots of information. 13 years after the first cell phone was invented, we get about 40 newspapers worth of information daily. So 21 years later, in 2007, the number actually multiplied by 4 times to 174 newspapers. So can you imagine by now, 13 years later, it's probably even multiple or even triple the number. So our brain, they do their best to keep up and evolve. But I guess at some point, they just give up. So what happened is our brain actually tuned out about 80% of those information. So that is a big issue. So I'll begin the first tips based on my own learnings. And the keyword is relatable. So the key is to get your audience to notice you. All right. So social media is a big pool of 3.5 billion, and that offers a very big opportunities. I think we all know that. So they made it so easy for anyone, literally like anyone, even my grandma, who is 85 years old currently, and she can basically easily sign up for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, and she can jump right away to the wagon. But to stay ahead of the game is a different story. So within the 3 hours they spend every day, people scroll in an average about 71 to 74 feet worth of information, which is equivalent to about 22 meters if you convert it to meters, which means they have an average view of less than 10 seconds per post. So this data is actually calculated based on the lines of text and also speed of reading. So I can almost hear all of you guys asking, okay, so does that mean we need to include as many texts as possible? All right, let me show you how it looks like. So I'm going to show you an image and then I'll give you about 10 seconds before I ask you any questions about it. So are you ready? And here. So I have already started my stopwatch. 9, 10. All right. So that's about it. That was 10 seconds. So now the question is, how many people are joining the event? Okay, I'm just joking. I don't actually understand what the post is about, but for your comparison, you can see this one. So do you see the difference? Like there's this big, catchy, relatable title right in the middle. So the key is grab their attention through their curiosity. So start one controversial statement or question that your audience can relate. So that was the first tip, relatable content. So secondly, relatable faces. So in this pandemic situation, we can all feel it, like social media becoming an essential part of human connection. We can't meet physically, so most of the time communication happens virtually, like how we do this conference right now. And where did that happen? In social media, of course. So it's all about empathy, trust, human connection. So the second tip is to build trust. So I'm going to give you another example. So I made this digital sketch to summarize David J.P. Phillips. So if you know him, he's an amazing speaker, amazing coach, very, very, very positive and humble human being. So I summarized his TED Talk, How to Avoid Death by PowerPoints, and then I posted on my LinkedIn. So I was blessed with 180 loves from all of them. And then I got 32 comments. And this post itself reached about 7,000 views. And then David reshared on his LinkedIn page. And guess what? So the exact same image got 431 likes and 31 comments. So actually, if you count it, it's more than double in terms of the reaction. So from here, the phases that you need is first, influencers. So influencers are those that you followed because you are curious about them, about their lifestyle, about fashion style, their type of content and whatsoever. And then we also have another one, which is storytellers. So they can be personalities, they can be companies, they can be brands that you follow because of their insightful and inspiring content. So sometimes they tell their own stories, sometimes they tell other people's, and usually it's about one specific theme or topic. So third is subject matter expert. So they can be organization or personalities, but they are known as one source of truth, and people follow them for that valuable information. So the tip is to get noticed and collaborate with these personalities, or if you can't, just be one of them. Okay? So the next tip is relatable taste. So whose taste I'm talking about right here? Of course, your audience taste. And how should we do that? First, the platform. So know where your audience hangs out, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. And then from there, you can estimate when is the best time to actually post, and also what are the dimensions that required. So it's pretty straightforward. And secondly is the visualization. So know your audience demographics, like how old they are, what are the gender, their job, their lifestyles. And from there, you can also gauge the visual style that is familiar to them, as well as the best way to visualize it. So to give an example, the contents and visualizations that are appealing to designers, for example, are differ vastly from those that appeal to HR, etc., etc. So the good news is with Piktochart, you don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty of designing social media visuals. With templates, we have the right size ready for different social media channels. And then we also have the fonts and color pairings ready for you. We have the icons, illustrations, photos, all ready for you to use. So yes, so all right. So that was the extended version of the first tip, relatable. And then moving on to the second tip. The second tip is to entice. And how do you entice your audience? So if I'm about to ask you to watch a 6-hour long movie, what was the first thing in your mind? I know probably some of you guys are going to be like saying, okay, it's gonna be boring, my back is gonna hurt, you're probably gonna refuse it. And versus 6 of 1 hour episodes. So in the opposite, there's a high chance that you are gonna finish them in one sitting. Like that happened a lot in Netflix, I know, right? So the secret is actually in the enticing storytelling. So in the storytelling, there's this arc you see here. It goes from normal to explosion and then followed by new normal. So in normal, usually there's this like peaceful scenario with small issues, I guess. And then it escalates to the explosion or the drama, where the conflict started and it gets bigger, and then the hero will come up with a solution that will lead us to the new beginning. So in a 6-hour long movie, there will only be one arc. But in 6 episodes, there will be 6 arches, which is one per episode. So if we are going to apply the same logic to our social media posting, the answer is to divide them. So yes, to divide them. So what do you mean by divide it? Okay, it's to divide them. So be it through the slides or the carousel or the threads in Twitter or series of posts, maybe once you get their attention, you just want to hook them. Make them keep scrolling horizontally, not vertically. Okay, so secondly, enticing visual storytelling. So I have 3 colors here. When you see these 3 colors, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Maybe some of you will guess like traffic light, or it can be the color of sales spreadsheet, or it can be colors of OKR status. And yeah, so the thing is, with just little context, your brain can understand the meaning of these colors in short amount of time. So red means danger or bad or stop, don't move. And then yellow is in progress or everything is going well. Green is good, you can go. So the idea here is visual storytelling taps on interpretation. So you can use icons, photos, or colors to visualize your message so that your information can be absorbed quickly. So visual storytelling is also about consistency. So if you notice, throughout the presentation, I use blue color to highlight the important words. So the words that I want you all to focus on. And because I'm being consistent with it, the next time I flash a blue color, you know immediately that it's important. So same goes to the font and quality of your post. You want to make it consistent enough so that your audience know what or when to expect, but yet there's still room for surprises. And last but not least, so when I show you this slide, which line do you guys see first? Whether is it visual hierarchy or with contrast? I know it's confusing, right? Like, how about this one? Is it better? So what I did is I create a contrast with different font color and font sizes, so that when you see the slides, your eyes went immediately to the word that I want you to see. So yeah, that was the last tip that I have right now. So I guess it's time for recap. So we have two extended tips, relatable and enticing. So for relatable, we have relatable content, we have relatable faces, we have relatable tastes. And for enticing, we have enticing storytelling, enticing visual storytelling. So I hope the tips are easy to remember and even easier to be applied to your next social media post. And most importantly, I hope it's useful for you guys. And surprise, surprise, we have 1 month Pictochart Pro subscription free for all of the participants of this webfest. So you can redeem it at get.pictochart.com/webfestasia, and you can enter the code webfest2020. So I would like to end our session today with a quote from George Frescara that said, creativity is based on a number of controllable processes that combine flexibility with efficiency. So no magic whatsoever. Everyone can be creative, and all you need is just a courage to start and keep practicing to get better. So I guess that's the end of this session. I hope to connect with all of you guys here. So do reach out to me in social media. And if you have any question, you can ask me anytime. If you need to revisit this presentation, you can click or scan the QR code. So I will see you again, and back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Natasha. And of course, just to add on to what you just said, for those of you who just missed out on this presentation, don't worry, we'll be uploading all our slides and video recordings after the 28th of October. That's on our official website. That's webfest.asia/agenda. Once again, that's webfest.asia/agenda. Now, Natasha, we have a few questions for you right now. We can take one or two. So this first one comes from David Chiang. David's question is, what website can you recommend that has good PowerPoint presentations?
Okay, so because I'm representing Piktochart, I guess, of course, I will encourage you to try Piktochart. And we have this feature where you can actually export whatever that you are doing to PowerPoint. So embed it compatible with your ecosystem in this case. So yeah, I guess I'll encourage you to try Piktochart.
Absolutely. No harm in shamelessly plugging it here. It's all good. Okay, so this next one is from Kylie Tan. So the question is, do you have an example of a successful scroll stopper post that we can learn from? And how do you measure the key of success?
All right, yeah, of course. So an example will be founder. So this is a personal opinion, I guess. So I follow founder in Instagram, and they have a very catchy sort of content, and also it's well designed, I guess, for their audience, which is the executive CEO founders out there. And how do you measure the key of success? I guess it differ for every brands or companies, and also maybe the purpose of your company. So for example, some people measuring it through their engagement, in this case like likes and also maybe comments, and some other kind of like some of the are measuring it based on the followers. So it also might be different depending on the channel itself. So for example, in Instagram, they have this sort of like algorithm that push your post once people actually share your post. While on LinkedIn, when they have a lot, I mean, one post have a lot of comments, then it will have a higher chance to make it to the top. So I guess, yeah, the answer is might be different based on your company and also your platform that you're choosing.
I think that's very well said. Thank you so much for the question, Kylie, and thank you, Natasha, for your time here with us today. I think you had a very eloquent presentation. It was very easy to understand, and it was very engaging. So thank you so very much for being a part of our WordFest Asia 2020.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. I'll see you soon, Natasha. You have a good day now. Stay safe. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.